I will open the door and turn on the fan.
Unless John Burke. Is this the tie guy, Michael Martin?
Oh, I was trying to make sure. I was right there.
The problem is that my heater is like pretty extra, and so when I leave the door closed,
So we're leaving it open.
My mom was just hot box there. We didn't hire me. This is all hot box.
Yeah, so wait, so why do you
Every single person.
because I outfitted this stuff.
That's what it is.
Because when they close their doors,
My voice just goes through walls.
well, maybe you should tell them.
Okay, let's do 34. Hey, Sean, we're trying 34.
Okay.
Draw a little picture if you think you need that.
How do you draw a picture? I don't know how to do that.
You don't know how to draw an asymptote?
I don't know what that is.
Okay, well,
What?
stop surprising.
I don't want to ask you. I just don't know how to.
Is this a review?
That is the review, yes. Oh, because you're going to. Do you want to take a picture of the one fitted together?
Yes.
It's this packet right here.
Yes, I would like to do that, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. We did like about the first page, second page, and then the third page.
Hey, Sus is here. Good.
Oh man.
Good. We almost had to have a free day when we thought you were
I didn't
gone.
want to like work without you.
Yeah. Okay, and then what will that give you? The point or the slope? And you're going to need to find the slope next. And take the derivative and plug it.
Okay, we're getting out our paper. Okay. Give it a shot.
I can't get on my face.
Yep. And then you have to plug in one. Yep.
It's 34, 35, 39, 40, 4.
Oh yeah, Colton, do you still need to take a picture? Now y'all remember this is a test grade. Okay, you remember this? So that's why I love to help you do it.
You know, I didn't leave yesterday.
You had to leave yesterday for what?
It was on the council's meeting yesterday. I think the council's meeting.
Y'all can work together.
Maybe you can send me the final exam on that date, anytime I'll use it on it.
Okay, yep, I'll do that. Sight. In your dreams, Colton.
You're right, I was wondering about that.
You dream about getting math answers? Lame.
You're going to need the derivative, but you're also going to need to plug into the original, because what do you need for the equation? Point and the, so you'll have to find the y value and find the slope by taking the derivative.
Yeah, you really are. But you're not the only one down there.
You did! You tricked it.
Can you help me how to start this?
Do you know what an asymptote is?
Yeah.
When, as the graph goes out, it approaches that number, right?
It just raises up the base.
So look at t. As x goes to infinity, what should have the x be? That's literally the definition of asymptote. Now, for 35, we're going to asymptote. So as x goes to 5, your limit's going to go to because asymptotes can't go upwards.
Why does this one say it goes down?
Well, this one, it says x has to be greater.
Oh,
So the opposite of
this is X is greater than 0. Oh, algebra.
we're gonna just go to the boundaries of the
So remember, when it says which one must measure, usually for asymptotes, you never hit that value. That's normal, but it is possible. Or think about what if it's piecewise. And on this side, you have like the graph today.
To make sure that we're like,
Only could hit by this side.
Reminders.
Right, but it just can't, as your x is going to infinity. Kind of the same thing as,
every day.
so I have an asymptote, and as x is approaching 4. But do I still have 4? Yes. So it's like, you have to think about it, if it's which one must be true, then it's like, there's no way to avoid it. Yes? Oh, you were on the right track. Take the derivative, and then the derivative is the slope, so the d. Yes? Sure.
No, that one was right. That one was
Hang on, just okay, so if it's a horizontal asymptote, then that means that it's approaching 5 at the end of the graph, right? So it's actually, because as x, what does x mean to infinity, and your limit is equal to 5. Does that make sense? So like, is this your 5 graph? So my graph has to go towards 5. Well, it's because it says it's an asymptote and it's a horizontal line. Now the other option would be that. But either way, as your x's go towards infinity, so as your x's get bigger, your limit equals 5 means your graph is getting closer and closer and closer to 5 each time. Now for this one, it's a vertical line of 5. So my graph has to be going like this, or it could be going like this, right? So what is x approaching for your line? X is approaching. Okay, so your limit is approaching infinity, but what are your x's getting closer to 5? So x needs to be getting closer to 5. Your limit needs to be closer to infinity. Do you see the difference? So for a horizontal asymptote, you're looking at x is going to infinity, the y value is getting closer to 5. Versus for a vertical, your x is getting closer to that line. Like your y is closer. Okay?
Yes.
It's not right. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do those first two with you. You shouldn't be doing like a ton of work on them. You should just kind of be looking at them and then knowing what the definitions are. Okay, so if you're doing 34, okay, a horizontal asymptote would look like this. Okay, here's my graph. We'll go to 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and if that's an asymptote, what has to happen for my graph? It has to be doing what? Getting closer and closer to 5 as x goes where? To infinity. So now, technically, for an asymptote, you could have the limit as x goes to infinity, or you could be doing the limit as x goes to negative infinity. However, I know that it's positive infinity because what did they say right here? X is greater than 0. So that's how I know. I'm not looking at this side. I'm looking at an asymptote at this side. Yeah? So, my graph now, you can approach 5 from the top or the bottom. It doesn't matter. Let's say that my asymptote goes like this. We'll just say from the bottom. Okay, so look at answer choice D. D is the correct answer. As x approaches infinity, so as my x's get bigger and bigger and bigger, what are my y values getting closer to? 5. That's the definition of an asymptote. Now, the trick answer would be letter A. So if you picked A, remember that this is not true. This is why in pre-cal and algebra 2, a lot of times your teachers say, an asymptote, your line can't cross it. That's not true if it's piecewise. What if my graph is like this, but then on the other side it's like this? Did it hit 5 somewhere on the graph? It hit 5 right there. So remember that especially if my graph is piecewise, it doesn't mean that it can never hit 5. It just means that on that one end, it's getting closer and closer to 5. So for this statement, it says which one must be true. So you have to think about, is there any way that they could hit 5? Yeah, they could hit it on the other side. Okay? So D is the correct answer there. Now look at 35. Okay, what type of line do we have here for our asymptote? It's a vertical line. So go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, vertical dotted line. Okay, now an asymptote, just like last time, you can approach it from the bottom or from the top. So I'm going to go ahead and approach it to negative infinity, but you could do it on either side. So let's say that my graph goes like this. And it goes down forever and ever and ever to infinity. Okay, which of your limits statements is correct? C is correct. Okay, now look at C. It says, as I approach 5, what is my x going to in this picture I drew? Negative infinity. Now, what if my graph had an infinity asymptote? It would just be going up. Now, let's talk about why A doesn't have to be true. Could I do a piecewise like I did last time? Where I have an f at 5, it's just not the asymptote part of the graph. Okay, so if I do this, I have an asymptote on this side, but I have a line on this side, then do I have an f of 5 defined now? If I do it like that? Yes. So when it says which one must be true, look for your definitions before you look at all the other answers. Because piecewise graphs can do lots of weird things to make answers like these not true. Okay? Alright. So you are now moving on. I'm going to put piecewise on answer 35. Piecewise can do this. Okay? So you are moving on to the next problems that you were given, which is 39, 40, 44, and 46. Now, quick hint on 39 if you're stuck. Are you going to automatically start with this form for your equation? No. You're going to start with point-slope form, which is this. Oops, that's an x1. And then you're going to have to solve it to make it look like one of those. And then solve for y equals mx plus b. So you're going to find your point, you're going to find your slope, you're going to put it in this form, and then you're going to solve it to make it look like an answer choice. If you've already done it, C is correct. Okay, but if you haven't done it yet, then I want you to see if you can work it out. If you need help, raise your hand or ask somebody next to you. Okay? Yes.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
That's only if it's a limit that you can take the derivative of the top and the bottom. Okay, if you want the slope to be 3, what's the slope? A slope is a derivative equal to 3. Yeah? If you want the slope to be 3, you're just taking the derivative and then setting it equal to 3. Yes, sir. 3x squared equals plus or minus 1. Yeah, you should just have 2 x's. You should have 1 or negative 1. So whenever it says points, you want to choose so here, when you square root it goes out of that. And so then this is one of the points, you'll have to find the y value that goes in negative. Okay?
Oh, yeah. Stop talking.
I like it. Who calls it that?
I'm trying to call it.
So you're asking me if all,
Yes.
if all.
Don't encourage it.
I feel like a donut sphere is honestly the most correct.
Yeah, but like
Yes.
this is
Or maybe a donut elliptical solid.
A donut hole is who's the hole in the donut?
yeah, well, I understand that, but I think there's the donut hole as the hole in the
Ew, what
donut.
are we?
Yeah. Yeah, I see.
So we call them donut nuggets.
Not
No,
me.
they
That
call
is
it
my
a
turn.
donut
Why
hole.
would you try to chase it?
I think.
I like the idea. You should. Yeah, you need to really go to social media with this and try to get rally supporters. Okay, now guys, if you already did these, keep going. It's a test grade. Work some other problems. Okay, you never know when you'll need help. Yeah, that's right. So your point's 1, 3, now plug in 1.
to get the slope. Because remember, this is the slope at any point, you want the slope at 1. So then your slope is -2. And then you'll put it in this form, and then you'll have to solve it to make it look like an answer choice. Okay. Yeah. And make sure you use parentheses when you type it. When you have your unit?
Yeah, we did. And we were like, I didn't want to understand, and then they sliced up. I mean,
Even if I'm going down my never math.
here's my defense. So I'm
You know what I mean? But I see what you're saying. Like if it was y greater than 0 here, then I would have had to put it.
so I was like, oh, it's not good.
But since it doesn't say anything about what y has to be, that's what we're doing.
What did you get before you?
Yeah, but okay, if you're here, 5 pi thirds divided by 2 is 5 pi 6. Because instead of timesing by 2, you multiply by a half. So then it'd be 5 pi over 6. Okay, so first, let's just write the sine of pi 6 this year. So it'd be 1 on bottom, so it'd be 1 half. The next question is it positive a half or negative a half? This is 6 pi 6. So we're with 5 pi 6. You're right. So that in that quadrant, S is both sine is positive, cosine is negative. So that means positive. Don't tell you that! I touched it! You put the booger on the dress. Okay, I'm gonna go wash my hands.
Oh my god, Miss, I'm about to throw up.
You're welcome, bro.
For the on-ramps thing, let's do this right. So there's like 3. No, there's like 5 assignments.
What are you talking about?
The paragraph meetings? Yeah, the paragraph. I didn't know what those were. Okay, there's like these little like 4.35. Yeah, I know it's close. Right?
They were in high school, so you don't have to.
No, she was the 1st grade. And she'll put in service this like today.
She dropped 2 of them. If she'll tell you, like, the things that we have to do, she'll tell you. She doesn't say she don't know. Yeah, but they're doing November.
I think so, yeah.
She announced
Are
it a
those
long time ago.
Okay, I think I'm showing that because I did it all over.
What do you have in that class?
Last time was like the Friday when I got back from
Okay, what should you have done on 40? If you want the slope to be 3, what should you have taken? Derivative, and then remember, a slope is a derivative, so I set it equal to 3. So it would have been 3x squared minus 2. What's the derivative of that? So the derivative of x cubed is 3x squared. The minus 2, the derivative is 0, and then I'm setting it equal to 3. So then divide by 3, you get 1. X is plus or minus 2. I'm sorry, plus or minus 1. But then remember, if it asks for points, you need to find both points. So I would have 1 comma something and negative 1 comma something. Now question, when I'm finding the other half of the point, what do I plug into? The original, very good. So you'd be plugging into here. So if I want f of 1, that'd be 1 cubed minus 2, which is 1 minus 2, which is negative 1. Then I want f of negative 1, that'd be negative 1 cubed minus 2, but negative 1 cubed stays negative, minus 2 more is negative 3. Those would be your answers there. Okay, number 41, I'm not going to do it for you, but if you want both graphs to be parallel, what would you need to set? Their slopes equal, which is their derivatives equal. Okay, set derivatives equal. All right, let's turn the page, please, and look at whatever number, 44. How would you take the derivative on that one? Quotient rule. So your high should have been 2x minus 3. What's your d high then? 2. Your ho. 5x minus 2. Your d ho would just be a 5. So then your quotient rule would be f prime of x equals ho d high. Now, if you did not put parentheses around it, that is wrong. Okay, you have to group those in parentheses. Now, if it's a free response, it matters. If it's multiple choice, no one will ever know, except for you. Okay? So ho d high minus high d ho over ho squared. Now, you could simplify that and cross a bunch of stuff out, but where specifically do I want the slope when x is 1? So I would just plug in 1. I wouldn't do a bunch of simplifying. So f prime of 1 here. Okay, 5 minus 2 would be 3 times 2 is 6. Then down here, 1 minus 3 would be negative 1 times 5 would be a negative 5.
Wait, wouldn't it be 2?
Where?
2x, wouldn't that be 2?
Yep, and then 2 minus 3 would be
Oh, I thought you said 1.
negative 1, right? I'm plugging in 1, yeah? So that'd be 3 times 2 is 6. Yeah? And then on the bottom, I'd plug in a 1. That'd be 3 squared is 9. 6 minus negative 5 is 11 over 9. Now, what did I forget to do? It doesn't only ask for the slope, it asks for the equation. What else am I going to need besides the slope? The y value. Very good. So I'm going to plug in 1 here. So 2 times 1 minus 3. And then 5 times 1 minus 2. What does my y value come out to be? It'd be negative 1 over 3. And so then my point would be 1 negative a third. And then between those two things, you should be able to write your equation of your tangent. So it'd be y plus a third. 11 over 9 is my slope. And then x minus 1. Okay, there's one more off of this I want to try before 46. It's number 43. Okay, it tells me I want my lines to be perpendicular. Okay, so if it's parallel, they're the same slope. What are the slopes for perpendicular lines? Okay, opposite reciprocals. So let's find the derivative of the curve, find the derivative of the line, and then we want them to be equal to opposite reciprocals of each other. So let's do the line first. What is the slope of negative 32x plus 4? What would the slope be? Negative 32. That would be the tangent slope. What would the perpendicular, now look how I'm going to write this, y prime, and then I'm going to put this symbol. Do you remember that from geometry? No? Okay, well that just means perpendicular. So you do like a little T, like an upside down T, and you put a right angle in it. Okay? So that would be the perpendicular slope. Now if the original is negative 32, what would the perpendicular slope be? 1 over 32, and it would be positive. So that's the slope I actually want. Not the parallel slope, the perpendicular slope. Okay, now I want to set that equal to the slope of this. Can I take the slope of it if it's 1 over x squared? I would have to use what rule? Unless I can do a rewrite. Can I do a rewrite? Yes, how could I rewrite that? X to the negative 2. Okay, if it's on the bottom, or you can put the 1 in the front if you like that. Okay, but that's 1x to the minus 2. So then what would y prime be? Negative 2x to the negative 3. And then remember, what's the game plan? I want this slope to equal 1 over 32, so I'm going to set them equal. Now, am I going to keep it in this form? No, I'm going to rewrite that as negative 2 over x to the 3. Okay, so take a second. You should get a whole number, and I want you to set this and this equal to each other. So you're setting the slope of the curve equal to the perpendicular slope of the line. You can cube root a negative, but what is the result? A negative. The cubic root of negative 64 is negative 4. Now, keep in mind that this is a review. So I'm not going to go through all 80 whatever questions to see if you did every step, but you should practice reading the question. If it is asking you for a point, is an x value a point? What is the x value? How do I find the rest of the point? Do I plug into the derivative? To the original. So I would take my negative 4. I would come back to right here. If it's 1 over negative 4 squared, that would be 1 over what? Positive or negative 16? Positive. Because my negative 4, when I square it, would give me a positive result. Okay, so I would double check those kinds of details. Okay, next one we're going to do together is 46. So come down to 46 for me, please. Says f is a differentiable function, f of 3 is 8, f prime of 3 is negative 5. Then it says let g be the function defined by, and then it says that g of x is x times f of x. G of x is x times f of x. Then it says write the equation of the line tangent to the graph of g at 3. What two things do we need for an equation of a tangent line? Point and a slope. So for my point, what's my x value? 3. Now, is the y value going to just be 8? We have to plug into g. So what will g of 3 be? Write it down. It would be 3 times f of 3, right? We're not tangent to f, we're tangent to g. G has f in it, right? So it'd be 3 times f of 3. And what was f of 3? 8. So 3 times 8 is 24. Okay, so that'd be 3 times 8, which is 24. Now, when I take the slope, will the slope just be negative 5? You're going to have to find the derivative using what rule? Product rule. Okay? So, for my product rule, this is going to be my u, this is going to be my v. So, I'm going to write it over here on the side. My u is x, my v is f of x. If u is x, what is u prime? U prime is 1. And then v prime, if v is f, would be f prime of x. So then for my slope, I'm going to say g prime of x equals, and then I'm going to do this diagonal plus that diagonal. My normal product rule. So it'll be x times f prime of x plus 1 times f of x. And then from there, specifically, we're plugging in 3. So it'd be 3 times, what is f prime of 3, so that I don't have to write it out? F prime of negative 3. Negative 5, right? And then plus 1 times f of 3. F of 3 is 8. So that's negative 15 plus 8, which is negative 7. And then from there, you have your point here. You have your slope here. So you can write the equation of the tangent line from there. So it'd be y minus 24, negative 7, x minus 3. Now let's pretend for a minute like this was multiple choice and the answers were all solved, like on that other one. What would I do with the negative 7? It's just 2 easy steps. Okay, distribute. So I'd have negative 7x, and then negative 7 times negative 3 is plus 21. But then your y isn't quite by itself. To get rid of the minus 24, you would have to add it across. So I would plus 24 here, plus 24 here. So y would be negative 7x plus 45. Now, if it was free response, would you do that? No, total waste of time. But if it's multiple choice, you should be used to that. There's one just like that on your semester exam. Okay? Number 47 is very similar to number 46. So I'm going to put look at 46 since we just did that one together. Okay, turn the page. I'm going to do maybe 2 more with you. Number 50, I need you to add actually do 49 for me. We just covered theorems last week. And then number 50, I'm going to have to add in an extra answer choice. It is going to be the right one. Okay, so try those 2, but add in that extra answer choice. And I'd love for you, since you just did your extra credit quiz, hopefully, to mark which theorem is used, and then if it's not going to work, if they didn't use it right, put what's wrong with it. And you can pull out your theorem sheet if you need to.
Is this the other packet that we did?
It was the packet on theorems, yeah. But you really only need that first page with the theorems on it, probably. And then the theorems sheet with the sheet as well. So you have a fourth one. And then your pink derivative sheet.
Is this MVT?
MVT has a derivative in it. So if it doesn't have an F prime, it can't be MVT. What's a tangent line? It's a point that has, so it has to go through a point on a graph, and it has to have the exact same slope as the line. So which one are you doing?
Yeah, so you need to know the point, you plug into the original to get the y value.
And then for the slope, you take the derivative. And then you'll start with the y minus y1 and x minus x1. Remember that formula that we did on this one? But then you'll have to solve it to make it look like so I think practice on that. You need to go back and find one. So we're perpendicular to that graph, but our point needs to be on the graph of this one. So think about, I'm on that original graph, I'm just wanting my slope to be perpendicular to the line. So it doesn't have to be on the line, it has to be on the 1 over x. Letter C, oh, that's your x value. So there has to be a C on the interval so that f of C equals whatever. My sister works there. And it's like the song. It's a accounting firm. She doesn't work there anymore. She actually teaches at U. Huh? She just hated it. She like literally like really? Yeah. She worked there for like a year and a half, and I mean like had to start singing counselor. Like she started losing her mind. How many hours? She just never got to do anything but work. And like after she finished her undergrad in accounting, she realized she hated it, and it was just like she'd already gotten her degree in it, and you have to pretty much have a master's to even do anything with accounting. So she finished her master's, then started working there thinking it would like get better, and she just kind of like spiraled. I mean, she never like did anything bad, but she just like hated her life basically. So then she moved to a smaller firm, liked it way better, and then got a teaching
Okay, 49. Which one is it? Did you get it? What? None of you? It's not D. It's E. Oh, wait, hold on. Were you thinking of 50 or 49, yeah? Okay, look. Rolle's theorem, what do the y values have to be? They have to be equal. So if it's negative 8 and 4, are those equal? Okay, Rolle's. No, because f of negative 2 isn't equal to f of 1. Now let's talk about the other ones. For A, it says f of c has to equal 2. Is 2 between negative 8 and 4? What theorem says that? IVT, and then I'm going to put 2 is between. Okay, now I'm not going to be all the way extra and write it out, but it's between the y values. So A is good. B, f prime has to equal 4. What theorem says f prime has to equal a specific number? MVT, but what does that number have to be? The average rate of change. So I'd have to find a rock to make sure that it's 4. Well, it would be 4 minus negative 8 over 1 minus negative 2. And if it's minus negative 8, that's really a plus, so I'd get 12 over 3. Is 12 divided by 3 4? Then did they use MVT correctly? Yes. Letter C says that there has to be an f of c bigger than all the other ones. That's EVT, that's true. Okay, and then your next answer choice to this one is EVT. Remember, EVT is pretty much always true. The only thing it has to be is continuous. Okay, then letter D says that f has to equal 0. That's IVT. And 0 is between. Pretty much. The only way that EVT would not be true is if it's not continuous on a closed interval. If it was on an open interval, that would throw EVT out. But pretty much anything else, EVT would be fine. Okay, now look at letter 50.
Which one has a derivative in it? Is it always going to be?
It's Rolle's and MVT that have derivatives. And you can see here, f prime here is Rolle's, f prime here was MVT. Okay, look at the next one. It says it's continuous and differentiable. Now, what does differentiable mean? That every point has a what? A derivative. Look at A. F prime exists for every x. That's the definition of what it means to be differentiable. Okay, so that's not a theorem, that's just true. If it's differentiable, every point has to have an f prime. Okay, letter B and C are both what? EVT, that is true. It's continuous on the closed interval. Letter C, f prime has to equal 0. Which theorem is that? Rolle's. If your y values are the same, are they the same? Yes. Okay, so Rolle's is used correctly. Answer choice E says there has to be a place where f equals 0. Is 0 between the y values if the y values are the same? It can't be. So this would be IVT, but 0 can't be between f of negative 2 and f of 1. And then if you want to think about why, it's because if they're the same, how can anything be between them? Yeah? Okay, out of that bottom section, I want you to try 51 and 52, and then we'll stop. 51, 52. Both derivative rules here. You should be doing chain rule on both. 51 and 52. If you do not remember the rule for 52, I'll give it to you. Why do I have to have an LNB on the bottom? Because it's not a what kind of log?
Oh, okay.
a natural log. If it's a log of any other kind, you have to put in ln of the base. What is the base if it's not listed for 52? 10.
It's just like you forgot to minus the power over there. So the 3/4 moves down. And then put parentheses.
Do I have a pink sheet?
No, you can't change it.
That is,
You can use it on the special exam, but not on the real AP test. You're allowed to use that, and then you're allowed to use sheets. Can I have a derivative?
no,
Yeah.
I'm saying like, yeah, I know we won't be able to bring it like into it. I'm saying, did they give us one?
No.
Do they take off a multiple choice if you don't like, if you don't justify correctly or whatever? Like,
No, they won't even look at your book.
oh, they just care
The
about
multiple
writing.
choice is straight Scantron.
Really?
But the FRQ is where they really go extra on grading.
Can you be taking off?
So you have to make,
Try to get the answer.
to help you practice, honey.
Those are FRQs?
Now your CBA, I didn't grade your work.
Yeah.
I only graded it with multiple choice. Okay, 51, just to make sure we don't run out of time. I bring the 3/4 to the front, yeah? And then my x squared minus 3x plus 16 stays. What is my new power if I do 3/4 minus 4/4? Negative 1/4 times what's the derivative of the middle? If you didn't put parentheses, it is wrong.
Do another one too.
Okay? Then from there, you need to plug in f prime at
Can you take the derivative again?
what? 0.
0.
Yeah, so I brought the 3/4 down.
No, for the 2. Can you do it again or no?
No, don't do it again.
Okay.
Because the 2x minus 3 isn't inside something else. Okay. Then from there, I want f prime of 0. Well, then it'd be 3/4. Then I'm going to put my 2 times 0 minus 3 on top. I'm going to put my 0 squared minus 3 times 0 plus 16 on the bottom under a 4th root. Okay, now, does it make sense why this middle crap has to move to the bottom? Because why? It had a negative. So the 1/4 makes it a 4th root. The negative puts it on the bottom. Then on top, 2 times 0 is 0, minus 3 is negative 3. What is 3 times negative 3? Negative 9, right? We're multiplying. And then on the bottom, this is 0 crap, 16. So I have 4 times the 4th root of 16. What is the 4th root of 16? 2. If you're not sure, 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. So on bottom, that's really a 4 times 2, which makes it negative 9 over 8. Okay? 1 right next to it. If it was an ln, you do u prime over u. But since it's a log base 10, you can write in the little 10 there. It'd be u prime over u ln 10. What is u prime for the top? Hi! Minus 8, and then on bottom, my u would be 4x squared minus 8x ln 10. Why is what I have not right? And I would miss points if it were an FRQ. You gotta put parentheses when you're multiplying a binomial by something. Okay, that is f prime for anything. We want f prime where? Oh wait, it only says of x, so you're done. Okay? Alright. It's 46, so we're pretty close on time. Do not save all this till the end of the week. I try to do a little bit each night to keep up with where we are in class. It'll be due on Monday when you take your FRQ in class.
For the final.
I'm sorry?
The FRQ for the final exam part.
Yep. Your exam grade will come from, it'll be 60% multiple choice and then 40% free response.
How long should the FRQ take us?
You will have 1 class period. So on the AP test, it's 15 minutes per question, 15 minutes per free response, so there's like a part A, B, and a C. But on the real AP test, you'll have 6, we're only doing 3. So you'll have 15 for each. So you'd have 45 minutes. Class is 50 minutes. So you'll have a little extra time.
What is our actual like exam?
It'll be on the day that it's. Do you want to know which day?
I'll know, let's see.
This is third period. You take it on Wednesday.
I took it and I'm like, it wasn't that great. Like, I know I did it. And I got to take it to school.